so it's the middle of winter, and we've had a little bit of sun the last couple days, so it's kind of motivating me to start thinking about spring. And this time of year, I always start drifting off towards our trout season and the first dry fly opportunities of the year. For us up here in northern Michigan, the Hendrickson Hatch happens to be one of those early hatches that can be fairly productive at times. Kind of the cool thing about this hatch is, a lot of it's occurring during the daytime, middle of the day. We're usually chasing and targeting larger fish with streamers, and then as you start getting bugs, you can kind of switch gears, and start focusing on rising fish with dry fly opportunities. So the first fly I'm going to tie today is basically one of my favorite go-to Hendrickson Duns. It's pretty simple. It's basically taken off a Borcher's template, slight modifications to it here and there. We're going to tie this with a pink thread today. I'm using 8/0, and we'll kind of describe the materials as we go. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and start your thread and get that on the hook, and we're going to take it right back to the bend here. And then we're going to tie in our tail. So for the tail, I'm just using moose mane, and I'm actually just going to take 2 of these fibers and tie them in for the tail. So what I'll do is I'll just take the material, kind of put it on top, and I want it to just barely extend past the length of the hook. They don't have to be super long. These are Duns, so typically their tails are a little bit shorter. But we'll just take this back, short of the bend. And then when we come back, I'm going to kind of split these tails in 2 here. So I'm just going to take my thread and come up in between. And maybe one more turn up underneath, kind of prop them up a little bit. Okay, now that you got that done, that should be set. So the next step is basically we're going to use a turkey secondary wing feather. These can be found lower on the wing of most of your adult turkeys. If you're a hunter, these are great feathers to keep. You can kind of tell, if you look at this closely, there's a lot more mottling and there's a little bit of white and gray mixed in, unlike the tail feather, which tends to be a little bit more brown. If you're going to do a male version of the Hendrickson, that tail feather, traditional Borcher's color would be more probably what I would choose. But today I'm looking more for this mottling right here in this tip. I want a little bit of that white, a little bit of that gray, a little bit of that brown. Kind of tends to match the female Hendricksons a little bit more. So we'll just go in here and kind of cut out a section. And we're just going to tie this in by the tip. I'm actually going to take this and kind of come under the tail for 1, 2 turns, because I'm going to start my body back here and prop that tail up a little bit. Alright, now we're just going to move our thread forward till we tie into the wing. About 2/3 of the way forward, 1/8 of an inch back from the eye. For the wing, I'm just going to use Pair Wing Medium Dun by Hairline. Stuff's pretty easy to get, pretty easy to manipulate. Alright, so we're just going to tie this in, going backwards. We'll trim it when we're done. So we're just going to prop this wing up here real quick. Now the next thing you'll want to do is, I've gone ahead and pre-selected a couple of hackles. I like my parachute hackle to be a little bit bigger than the size of the hook, so we're tying on a size 14 Timeco 100. Basically I've gauged this for a size 12, and these are just dark dun saddle hackle from Whiting. It's pro grade dry fly hackle. You know, I like to use the little higher quality stuff. Anyway, we're just gonna come in and we're just gonna tie this in right at the base of the wing. And then we'll prop everything up, make a few turns around the base here. This definitely helps when you're tying with a synthetic wing right before you wrap your hackles. I can trim out the excess here. Okay, so now we're pretty much ready to go ahead and finish this fly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the body material and I'm going to kind of twist it. And I'm just going to make my first wrap or two right up under the tail. We come forward. And then as I go, I'm just going to kind of keep twisting this fiber. Kind of locks everything in together. And then we're just going to go a couple turns in front of the wing here. And we'll tie this off. Trim that out. Now, one thing I would recommend doing before you go ahead and finish this fly is we're going to take our thread and we're going to go over the body, kind of crisscross our wraps. This will add a lot of durability. Alright, now that we're back here at the front, go ahead and start wrapping your hackle going down towards the body of the fly. And we'll probably give her 3 to 4 turns here. And just before you go to tie off, if you hold that wing, kind of pull on those hackles, it'll tighten everything up. Go ahead and tie this off. At this point, we can go ahead and kind of manipulate that wing, get the hackle all kind of lined up, cut out our butt ends here. And if you have any strays, trim those out. Now on the wing, what I'll typically do is kind of pull it up tight and just give it a real steep angle cut towards the back. And then that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, pretty durable. You can fish this thing during an emergence. Fish is good, just searching water blind. And is really good when you got rising fish that are obviously taking duns. So there you have it.